G'day legends, James Greenshields from Resilient Leaders Foundation. Just finished up spending 7 days out here in the bush on my own, and I deliberately took myself off food for that time. An amazing spot. Here's my campsite. There's even my camp toilet over in the background with my little chair. I wanted to just talk to you about one of the reasons why I did this, because right up front I sat down and I said, what is my intention for coming out bush? Now, intention plus action equals outcome. It is one of the biggest universal laws. It's only actually trumped by a couple of others. And when we understand this, we can get an incredible understanding about life. We put young people on our rite of passage into the bush in isolation for 36 hours. And we give them food. They don't reckon we give them much food, but we give them a lot of food. They're just, kids. So that experience for them, though, is so powerful, because they actually work out how incredibly resilient they actually are, and they get experiences which they've never had before. But it's got to be done on their own, and it's got to be done in nature. Anyway, last time we were doing it, it's like it rained twice on them, and halfway through the second day, I turned to Kirsten and I go, should we bring him in? And then I got over that, and then about an hour later, Kirsty turned with me and she said, should we bring him in? And she got over that. Anyway, that night, because they were out for 2 nights, that night it rained again. And one of the guys had an incredible anxiety attack, and he started screaming. Now, another bloke who was about 200 metres up the road heard him, who had fear of darkness himself, goes, because he sees stuff in the dark, and he goes, grabs his torch, and he runs down to the aid of this, to his mate. Anyway, he gets his mate and he brings him down to me. And within 20 minutes, we're able to move him through, and he really hit the nail on the head with his fear, and he was able to conquer his fear of the dark and everything else. And so the two of them went back, and his companion put him back to bed, and then went back to sleep himself. Now, when I was debriefing them, well, actually I should say they were debriefing me, but we're talking about this whole thing, and I was saying, listen, Kirsten and I both thought about bringing you in, and he said, if you had done that, I never would have had the opportunity to actually experience what I did on the second night. And when I look back at it to intention plus action equals outcome, the intention Kirsten and I had, and always do on our programs, is for the betterment of the people that come along. So I come out, and so the action we take is in accordance with that, and we get the outcomes we do in our programs. But the thing is, I come out here and I had a series of intentions. Now, I don't know if I said, but if I say to you that I hadn't thought about coming in and ringing Kirsty a couple of times, I'd be lying. Of course I have. But my intention was so strong in coming out here and taking myself to the next level, of allowing myself to surrender and let go of the level of consciousness I was having at that moment, and to see where I would be taken from there. That intention was again pure and positive. And so the action I took was in accordance with that, was to stay out here. Now it's day 7. And I give you the big tip, I've been in tears of gratitude this morning because of what I've been able to achieve within myself, supported by this amazing place and everything in it. I did come to the realisation by night 3, the only difference between me, this bush and everything in it, I'm the only person who believes I'm separate. And that night that changed. But let's come back to intention plus action equals outcome. It is simply so powerful. Most of us, though, go through a daily life and we don't even realise the intention. We don't even set intention. So we just go through life unconsciously. When you're at the local grocery store, what intention do you have going up to have an interaction with the checkout person? Or don't you have one? What intention do you have on a daily basis with your family? Or is it just another day with the family? As a leader, what intention do you have in a daily basis with yourself and your team and the people that you're of service to? Is it a positive, negative, or neutral one? If it's a negative one, you're going to get a negative outcome. So unconscious intention setting is the way most people do it. I even had a chat to, I was working with an AFL captain. I'm working with an AFL captain. And I said to him, what's your intention of this drill that you're doing currently? And he said, I don't have one. And the drill was lackadaisical. And I didn't need to be an AFL player to actually work out the drill was lackadaisical. So my point to him was, every time, you go into a quarter, every game, every training session, every drill that you do, have an intention as a leader. And he gets it. Now, we can take this on a daily basis. We can just break down our day and we can go, what's my intention this morning? And then take the action in accordance with that, and we'll get the outcome. Being aware that if you set a negative intention, you're going to get a negative outcome. So unconscious intention setting is generally the way things roll, I should say. With actions, if we just go by the golden rule of 3, which is respect, reverence, and responsibility. Any action I take, if I infuse any action I take with the intention that I'll be acting according to those 3, respect, reverence, and responsibility, I'll give you the big tip. Life will completely change for all of us, because what we put out, we'll receive back tenfold. So when we understand intention plus action equals outcome, and we realise conscious intention setting, it sets us up for success. Whatever your definition of success is. If your definition of success, by the way, is external to you, good luck on a happy life. Trust you got something from it. Much love.